What's up everybody, it's your boy Tonhokai here, welcome to the video. Now, I'm reviewing episode 84 one day before episode 85 gets out because a lot of things happened in my life recently. Firstly, I was away from my country for like 2 days. I did the SAT. In the meantime, I lost a lot of money through playing roulette, and it was very stressful the past couple of days, and I really couldn't find the time to do this review, but here I am doing it one day before episode 85. And anyway, without further ado, let's get into the review. Contrary to most opinions, I actually really enjoyed this episode. So I want to cover something, all right? And I just remembered this because a lot of people shared their opinions on this on Twitter, and it's basically the fact that Boruto said to Onoki, "I defeated Yotsuki." Now, obviously that's very exaggerated, and I don't think that I have to explain this. But the thing is, if you look at the context, at that time, Onoki was pretty much saying to Boruto that all the youngsters are weak, and obviously he was kind of exaggerating in that sense, right? I'm talking about Onoki, and then I guess Boruto just wanted to kind of give like a counter argument, and naturally he exaggerated, and that's why he said, "I defeated Yotsuki." Obviously, he didn't really do too much. And you know, to say that he defeated Yotsuki, it's like, it's not really too correct to say it that way, but I just wanted to kind of justify his action. Well, I should say his words. So yeah, this whole, and I wrote it here because I just couldn't memorize I didn't memorize the name because I saw this episode like 6 days ago, but it's called Sanzu Plains or whatever. That's the place where Onoki and Boruto were trapped in. It's actually a very good idea because that way they're forced to be together, they spend more time, and they further develop their bond. I mean, I really enjoyed Onoki's and Boruto's interactions at the start of the Mitsuki arc. It was like episode 70, episode 71, something like that. And yeah, I really enjoyed their interactions in this episode as well. So yeah, as I said, I really like the fact that they were trapped together in something. In this case, it's Sanzu Plains. Yeah, they like, to escape you have to find your heart stone, and only those who confront who they truly are able to find it. Now, I'm not the only one who said this, so I don't want you guys to think that I'm stealing this from somebody, but it's kind of obvious in my eyes. Like, okay, it's not so obvious, but it's just a possibility, all right? And I know somebody else said this on Twitter. Did Onoki lose his Heartstone, and is Boruto going to be the one who's going to help him find his Heartstone? Just think about it. It is a possibility. We'll see. Now, one thing that I want to say about this entire concept is that it is a test in a way, and we already had that episode in this arc where Boruto had to go through a couple of tests. You know, it was in the Ryuchi cave, so it's kind of repetitive, this concept, in my eyes. You know, so there's definitely one negative when it comes to this episode. It's not a huge problem, but you know, I just wanted to point it out. But yeah, we get a scene with Kako and Kirara. Well, I just want to focus on Kirara for a second, and you know, this is something that I mentioned multiple times throughout these, Mitsuki arc reviews, and I'm just gonna repeat it again. You know, all these characters, right? These synthetic human beings or whatever, they all wanna be humans in a way, and it's always tragic seeing them on the screen. And you saw Kirara showing her stuff to Mitsuki, and she clearly she wants more attention, and it's sad. It's sad. She's probably not even aware of it, but she's, she wants attention, and usually people who seek more attention, approval from other people, they're suffering deep down. And it's a small detail, but I just thought that it was very sad. If you've been following my reviews, you guys know that I'm a huge fan of Seikei, but I'm liking all the other members of his gang or whatever. I don't know how to describe it. This episode was serious in a way. It was deep, and I'm gonna get into some other deep things later on in this review, but let me mention the comedy for a second in this episode. Apart from a couple of funny scenes between Onoki and Boruto, we also had that funny scene with Akun and Inojin, and how Akun was able to say Chubs, right? That was a quality, it was like a well-written comedy moment when it comes to this episode, and I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, now, again, Boruto and Onoki, they're just bonding more and more in this episode, and at one point during their conversation, I think that I don't remember exactly what they talked about, but basically Boruto didn't know something, then Onoki tells him, didn't you study about that or whatever. And basically the message of that entire scene is that practical knowledge is very important, because, and if you think about it, in our world, you have so many kids just blatantly studying from the book, but not having too many practical skills. So this actually, it's like it's not a small detail. It's actually very important when it comes to our world. This message that was sent to us in this episode. But yeah, Onoki also explains why everybody got weaker in this generation, because there aren't really any wars. Again, he's subconsciously exaggerating a little bit, because it's not like they're super weak, these new generations or whatever, but still they are weaker. And he says that everybody needs to get, he's trying to make, this project become reality, because he wants to protect the youth. But what happens when these synthetic human beings get their own will? What happens then? I don't know. Who's gonna protect them? Like, that's a good fucking question. But anyway, he pretty much says that he wants to protect the youth from potential enemies like Kaguya. Yeah, Kaguya was mentioned in this episode. So that's obviously, I don't think I need to say it, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. That's a huge foreshadowing that we're getting multiple Kaguya level villains in the future of the series. Yeah, Captain Obvious. But yeah, when I did, I think Onoki teared up again. I saw this episode six days ago. Did he casually start casually? Why did I use that word? Did he start crying, or did he tear up? Either way, it was very emotional. And the soundtrack, I mean, throughout this episode, they were, great soundtracks. I really like when they play soundtracks when Seikei and his gang are shown. It's always so mysterious, synthetic humanish, if you get what I mean. But yeah, I got really emotional seeing Onoki, being so sad. Obviously, something messed up happened to Kazuchi, and that was, I guess, the triggering factor that made, Onoki decide to protect the youth in his own way. So yeah, we get a confirmation that Ku is a synthetic human created from Onoki's cells. I mean, previously in the series, it was mentioned that he was some type of vessel, so some people already kind of predicted this, but it is official. That's what I'm trying to say right now. And finally, Ku and Mitsuki meet after a long time, and the meeting was not, I don't want to say anticlimactic, but I want to say it, but the thing is slightly, all right, slightly, because we waited for it for so long, and it was extremely short, and it was relatively straightforward, which I don't have a problem with that. It's just that I thought it was a bit anticlimactic. So yeah, Mitsuki asks him about one's will. He said that there's a possibility that your will was programmed. Interesting thing is that at one point Mitsuki says, I don't have a problem if that's the case. I mean, he didn't exactly say this, but the point is, he said, either way, I'm fine, something like that. But one interesting thing that Ku said to Mitsuki is that you gotta ask the one who created you, about your will, and that somebody is Orochimaru. I remember somebody tweeting something along the lines of, if Mitsuki asked Orochimaru, we wouldn't get this arc. Something like that. It was a funny tweet. But yeah, in a way, it's true. He could have just asked Orochimaru. I mean, if you think about it, when Mitsuki was well, not when he was created, but when we got his backstory, like when Orochimaru and Log had that plan, right? To program Mitsuki into having his own will, right? Like that whole scene, it's literally Orochimaru wanting Mitsuki to choose his own path, and and now you have Mitsuki questioning his own will. So that's very ironic there. Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna see Mitsuki asking Orochimaru about his will. At the end of this arc or something, or during this arc, but most likely at the end. That scene would definitely be interesting, and I'd like to see it. So yeah, I mean, I mentioned Seikei multiple times, and how he kind of wants to be human, and this really goes for the rest of the gang. I mean, you have Kako reading books about humans in this episode. And again, it's sad for me, like Kako, he's kind of, I don't want to say frustrating to watch, but like he's always like kind of negative or whatever. But still, it's sad. It's sad, those interactions at the end between him and Kirara. It's sad. Like Kokuyo, he's so pessimistic. He doesn't even believe that they have souls. Again, that's also fucking tragic and sad. And at the end, Kirara and Kako, they the same thing that happened to Seikei a couple of episodes ago happens to them. I wonder if they're gonna survive or whatever. Like the way episode ended, you have Kirara and Kako not dying, but you see them getting some serious damage. Like there's soundtrack in the background, I think. And then, it switches to Onoki, who's sleeping, and to Boruto, and just the way it ended, like, it was like, boom, a great ending, a great cliffhanger, and overall, a great episode. The only two things that I want to, count as negatives is, so the first one, the concept of, testing, one's, ability to find it, his/her heartstone. It was kind of repetitive because we already had that episode with like 3 tests, I believe, in this arc. So that's the first negative, taking away 0.5 from this episode because of it, and another 0.5 for the fact that I felt like the meeting between Ku and Mitsuki was slightly anticlimactic. So in total, 9 out of 10 from me for this episode. I'm very excited for the next episode of Boruto. Obviously, it's coming out tomorrow. Anyway, that was your boy Tsunohiko Hokage. Twitter, Discord, and Instagram links are in the description of this video. Also, link to my second channel is in the description of this video. If you're new to this channel and if you're into the Boruto series, consider subscribing. And I will see you in my next video, which will be Boruto episode 85 review. So, yeah. Bye.